Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Cocoa Company says it is now well financed and committed to the building of a sustainable and successful cocoa industry here. Speaking at a media conference earlier today, General Manager Andrew Hadley says the company is very keen to engage farmers and to distribute more cocoa plants to them. Hadley is also urging interested persons to contact the cocoa company if they would like to obtain planting material, willing to sell their cocoa, or have lands to rent to the SVG Cocoa Company for cultivation. Hadley explains that the company is now actively buying cocoa beans from farmers following its restructuring in August and September of this year.
During this process, myself, Andrew Hadley, the General Manager of St. Vincent Cocoa Company, have been able to put together a management buyout of the company with the assistance of local investors. The company now is well financed and totally committed to build on the foundation laid over the last 3 years to build a sustainable and successful cocoa industry in St. Vincent. To this end, St. Vincent Cocoa Company is delighted to continue working with Ecom to establish the cocoa supply chain from Kingstown to ready buyers in Europe and America. The St. Vincent Cocoa Company offices are also in the process of being moved from French's to the new offices at the cruise ship terminal, which is more accessible to visitors.
According to Hadley, during the restructuring process, the nursery and cocoa gene bank at Orange Hill were reverted to government control under the Ministry of Agriculture.
Dixon remains under the management of St. Vincent Cocoa Company, and the company is working closely with the ministry to distribute its plants at no cost to farmers before the end of the wet season. St. Vincent Cocoa Company staff are now picking up wet beans from farmers and fermenting them at Dixon. I've said before that it's critical that the cocoa beans are fermented in one place so the process can be closely managed. The peak buying period is going to start when the dry season commences in December, January. We are using the time until then to work out pickup and logistic processes. Farmers are being paid cash or by check the day after the beans are picked up from them. Initial payment is 80% of the expected final price and the remaining 20% 2 weeks later. The reason for this, we don't know the yield and the quality of the cocoa.
Interested farmers can contact Hadley at 533-1500. That's 533-1500. Minister of Foreign Affairs and ICT Camillo Gonsalves says the youths are going to have to find new ways to live and adapt as climate change continues to affect the world. Speaking at the launch of a project geared at supporting youth and strengthening disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation, Gonsalves noted that national disasters are occurring more frequently than years gone by. He said because of the global inactivity and indecisiveness in confronting climate change, the youths are living in a far more dangerous world.
Because while old people can tell you about this one that happened and the one that happened 20 years before that and the one that happened 50 years before that, young people will be talking about climate disasters as an annual event. And they are going to have to be educated and equipped. And as Howie said, the culture will have to change in the way in which we confront disasters of a climate nature. Because whereas before it was unexpected and it was unusual, now it is predictable and constant, and it is the odd year when St. Vincent and the Grenadines does not suffer from a natural disaster. And you can use the words natural disaster and national disaster interchangeably in a small country like St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because whereas, for example, in the United States, if Hurricane Katrina hits New Orleans, it is a disaster for New Orleans, but life continues in New York and Texas and California. When a disaster hits St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it is a national disaster.
The Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation Project is being supported by the Pan American Development Foundation in collaboration with the Republic of China on Taiwan. Principal of the St. Vincent Boys Grammar School, Curtis King, says it is time Vincentians stop being dependent on others to tell us about our history. Delivering the feature address at the opening of a history exhibition held yesterday at the Kingstown Public Library, King says Vincentians no longer have to rely on everything that the British says about our past, as there are available records locally that date back to the 1500s and even earlier.
We existed before. Our foreparents existed before. And they all have civilizations that are worthwhile, that have heritage, that are priceless. And therefore we need not start our history from the 15th century. But again, I want to put out a caution. We must never forget our history.
According to King, the wrongs committed against our people in the past still affect society today, hence reparations are necessary.
Because we must never forget the efforts of people like Joseph Chate and the Garifuna people in struggling to maintain our independence from the control of European colonization and colonizers. And we must never forget the genocide of our native people for wanting to put up that struggle. We must never forget the enslavement of our African people. We must never forget the indentureship of our East Indians and even some Portuguese. So that today, when we look at the legacy of these things, we must join the fight for reparatory justice. We must say we need reparations for native genocide and slavery that have wreaked havoc on our people and that is today impacting negatively on our developmental efforts. We can't compromise.
The community of Sion Hill is this year going the extra mile to show its patriotism and national pride. With just a few days to go before St. Vincent and the Grenadines commemorates its 35th anniversary as an independent state, the Sion Hill community has been decorated with ribbon strips representative of the national colors blue, yellow and green. One of the persons instrumental in the facelift of the area is Caretaker for West Kingstown, Browne. Browne told SVG-TV News that he is committed to the further development of sports and culture in the community. Browne adds that independence is a very important time of the year, and sometimes Vincentians undersell what exactly is being celebrated at independence.
I took the decision that we could come up with some initiative to bring attention not only to Sion Hill but to independence in this country. And to do something like this, Llewellyn has been working along these lines for many years, and he was a natural partner in this process. So we've collaborated on several aspects of this. Sion Hill has made a name for itself in relation to Christmas, and we see this flowing naturally into what we're going to do for Christmas, so you could expect something spectacular. Over the past couple of years, I've been more or less laying the foundation for doing precisely this in different ways. It may take this form now, but we've been doing it in other ways before. Just establishing the contacts throughout the community.
Meanwhile, Sion Hill resident Leroy Llewellyn has not only beautified the front of his private property with the national colors, but also decorated his vehicle with the national colors. Llewellyn explains to SVG-TV News that he capitalizes on every opportunity to show his patriotism and love for SVG.
Independence of what it means, the historical importance of it. It's our 35th anniversary, and as a matter of fact, I've been doing this long before the 35th anniversary. And I deliberately choose to do down in that area because I want to send a message out there to persons as well. There are a lot of persons who are living in areas who have what it takes to keep the area looking clean, keep it looking tidy, being able to beautify the area, but they always want to depend on the government or depend on somebody else to do it. The area that you see where the flags and so forth are, it doesn't belong to me, it's private lands, but I was given the permission to do what I have to do. So I use my money each month to get somebody to cut it and try to develop it. Because we have to remember, Jamisha, that Sion Hill is the gateway to the capital. So I want people to realize that before they reach the actual gateway, you must see something down there first. So you sit down there, and as you get up here, you see something even bigger and brighter.
Still to come, over 400 primary and post-secondary students awarded Taiwanese scholarships. More stories on the local scene when SVG-TV News continues. Don't go away. Welcome back. Over 400 primary and post-secondary students were awarded Taiwanese scholarships at a presentation ceremony yesterday. Chief Education Officer Llewellyn Gilchrist says the Human Resource Development Scholarship is meant to support the students of SVG for their academic and social development through education. Kristin John-Deane has more in this report.
Minister of Education Girlyn Miguel commended the teachers for their selection of over 400 students who were awarded with the Taiwanese scholarship. Miguel said teachers continue to play a significant role in caring for children from all backgrounds.
The Ministry of Education has been given a task to look within our schools and see those children who have been doing well, who have been trying, but yet circumstances that prevailed within their homes did not allow them sometimes to have a meal, did not allow them sometimes to have a pair of shoes that did not have holes, or even to pay the bus to get to school. Many a time when this happens in our classrooms, the teachers are the ones who have to be the mothers and the fathers. And so you have responded today by looking within our schools and bringing such children out so that they can have a hand of fellowship which is being offered to us by the Republic of China and Taiwan.
She further thanked Taiwan for its continuous partnership with the government and people of SVG, which she says started since 1981.
We work well together, not only in education, but in agriculture, because we have to feed ourselves. If you look right across the road, you would see that lovely public library. We salute Taiwan for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are building the airport, and we want it. And the Republic of China and Taiwan said, yes, we're going to help you, and they are helping us.
Ambassador of the Republic of China on Taiwan, Baushuan, said the scholarship program is based on a 5-year memorandum of understanding, and he is happy that the MOU has been renewed for another 5 years to 2018.
I'm proud to say that the Taiwan Scholarship is a very successful program. Though the money itself is not very much for each student, for many years it has provided many students with a financial incentive that not only benefit their study, but also encourage them to pursue their dreams, fly high, and in return make contributions to their families, communities, and their country. Education is always on the top of the priority list when it comes to the bilateral cooperation between our two countries.
Since 1998, the government of the Republic of China on Taiwan has been providing annual scholarships valuing US $100,000 to hundreds of students at the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. Kristin John-Deane reporting for SVG-TV News.
Meantime, Chief Education Officer Llewellyn Gilchrist said in order for the ministry to achieve any success with students, there must be partnership between the schools, parents, and communities. Gilchrist noted that it will be pointless for the ministry to try to educate students without valuable partnership and collaboration of these key partners.
It is for this reason that we find that the learning resource centers are especially useful, and that the work of ACE is especially useful in supporting education and in providing for students the much needed scaffolding for their academic and social success.
The Ministry of Education today announced the names of 20 students who will be recognized tomorrow for the 2014 National Scholarship Awards. The students will be awarded for their performance in the May-June 2014 Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination CAPE of the CXC and the General Certificate of Education GCE. 11 full-time national scholarships will be awarded to the following students: Shanique Clark, Alexander De Freitas, Shanka Edwards, Lita Lewis, Lafisha Hadley, Shafel McDowell, Dimitri Kennedy, Anson Latchman, Angelina Kittels, Catherine Renton, and Becky Swift. Exhibition scholarships will go to Cyprian Isaacs, Trevor, and Ryan John. Bursaries will be awarded to Kenichia Charles, Cleon Collins, Anson Evans, Pedrick Pompey, Rena Samuel, and Sonia Morgan. The awardees will be recognized tomorrow at the annual Schools Independence Rally at Victoria Park. The University of the West Indies Open Campus will host its annual Independence Lecture tomorrow evening. This year's lecture will be delivered by Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, Caribbean historian and anthropologist, who will speak on the topic, "None but ourselves can free our minds, facing our past to chart our future." Dr. Honeychurch has had an exceptional career as an historian, archaeologist, artist, and journalist, not only in Dominica, but regionally and internationally. The lecture will be delivered at the Methodist Church Hall from 7 p.m.